I still don't really make these types of videos, the kind where I show off armor and armor builds, but you know, I'm gonna do a sequel to one I did exactly 8 months ago now, where I reviewed the quote best armor build, with a catch. And to be honest, with the modern meta, I mean, times have changed on Arcane Odyssey. It was not the best build. It was not great. I don't think it wasn't even good. But that all changes right now with this brand new build I want to show you. Boom. I mean, right off the bat, looking at the two main stats, just like last video, I have 1000 defense and 150 power. And this is all because of a couple buffs the balancing team, I mean, did maybe 4 or so months ago, whenever the Nimbus came out pretty much. They buffed defense on practically every single armor in the game. Cernig, Sunken Warrior, Argos armor, every armor pretty much. And they buffed it so it gives more defense, and then they ended up nerfing it because it was kind of OP. But not only that, with the most recent update, which I believe was a month ago now, or 2, they buffed the Power Amulet. And in my original video, I used a blasted powerful amulet. Back then it probably gave 40. Now, in the modern era, with level 140, it gives 54, almost 55 power. That's pretty fucking crazy. So, as you can see, the build is practically the same, honestly, except that one key difference. I am now using Glass Arcanium as a Savant. I'll just open my inventory here. You can see Glass Magic. As a Savant, you can choose a second magic, and at the very, very start of the Nimbus C, VTech changed that all magics give unique Arcanium stats, and with that, I decided to reset my stats. This is the build I'm using right now, but I changed from Fire Magic, which used to be my former second magic, to Glass, because as it stands, it gives the most power in the entirety of Arcane Odyssey. I don't know if that's subject to change with the upcoming Empires update that we're probably going to see sometime next month, and the new Dark Sea armors and whatnot. I have no clue if it's going to be different, but as it stands right now, Glass is the best magic in the whole game. For stats, at least. I wouldn't say it's the best, but I'm using a Glass Archmancer hat. This really comes to preference. You could also use a Glass Arc Sphere all the way down here. So my Glass Arc Sphere, it'll actually give exactly 1 more power than the Archmancer hat, but gives me 9 less defense. And seeing more defense makes my brain feel good, so that's why I chose this. But the key difference you'll notice is with this, like these armors right here. I'm running Atlantean now, which I didn't do in the past, but I'll do now because Atlantean Essence is fucking amazing. I'm kind of stupid for not running it before. These are armored, and I use the loop technique found by RC Place. Shout out to him. Go subscribe to him. I'll link him down below. I'm using his loop technique on Atlantean Essence with Lapis to factor back to power. So these give 14 power. At the drawback, if you want to call it that, of weird fucking things happening to your screen every couple seconds or so. For the sake of this video, I'm running Boarding 3, but hey man, I'm kind of cool with Insanity now. I think it's kind of cool, but I did change the enchant on my Sunken Iron helmet. I changed it to Powerful, so that way, with these and all the gems I have socketed, I have 150 power, 60 more power than I had in the last video, and with all of the brand new buffs, I have more attack speed, more agility, and more defense. So all around, the build has just gotten better over time. All I had to do was pretty much just use Atlantean Essence, and I could have been where I am today. That's enough of just looking at it. How about I show it in some combat and display some stats? Here I am inside of Fort Talos. I'm getting pwned by a Ravenna Guard. And just look at this damage. Just look at this. 296 damage. No shapes. Mind you, I am a Savant. And that is because not only do I have 150 power, any magic class, please do this. I set my magic size to 50. I am doing nearly 300 damage with my magic blast because of all the power and the size of my blast. So you can just see this build's kind of a beast. In PvP, it is kind of crazy. So that's my blast, 300 damage practically, pretty busted. My beam, which is also 50%, nearly does 200 damage as well. No double beam, just a regular single beam. Now, since I'm a savant, I get to use strength as well. My shot, which is, you know, the strength counterpart of beam, it does almost 200 damage as well. So the versatility of my build, and with the power of my build, I can do a bunch of DPS super fast. I can use beams, blasts, and shot all together to do almost like 300 damage or so consecutively. And look at these guys right here. I'm taking out my tempered old musket here, and just without charging, it does 370 damage, which is pretty fucking wild. I love the amount of power this build does. And charged does 500 damage. Pretty crazy. Hitting a full charge shot, piercing shot, is pretty crazy. So, with the very little showcasing I've displayed to you, this build does a lot of damage. But as you can see on the bottom left, I also have a fair amount of HP, even more than I had in the original video, and that's with 10 vitality, like I had in my original video. Holy shit. Yeah, so with buffs over time, this build has gotten a lot better, but also my mindset with builds has also gotten a lot better. With the metas changing and what have you, the consensus around builds has changed a lot. It's been very attack speed focused, somewhat size focused lately, but also power. DPS has been pretty scary lately. I will fight a random player and they're doing 300 damage to me, and they won't even necessarily be a build that's supposed to do high DPS, like a vitality build. And that's because of Glass Arcanium and Drawback here. With all the levels and enchantments and buffs we've gotten in the last 8 months since that original video, builds have gotten fucking dangerous. And I hope with this showcase, you like this build and maybe you'll try it out too. The saying still goes though, this build is very expensive. Same as it was in the last video, if not more expensive, because of galleon inflation from the Dark Sea. I mean, as you can tell, I have 1 million galleons, but I don't think that warrants this build being upwards of 600,000. The game has changed a lot since I made that original video, and that just tells what the price of this build, but also the stats of this build. Anyway, sorry for yapping so much. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace.